If you've ever wondered how to grow your audience and make consistent sales without necessarily having to show up on social media every day, this episode is for you, where I am joined by my brilliant mastermind and we share how we each attract traffic and sales while honoring our energy and our boundaries. Welcome to the Soulful Sales Show, where we talk about believing in the value of your offers, getting them in front of your right people, and selling more of what you do in your unique way. Hi, and welcome back to another episode of the Soulful Sales Show. So I am excited to bring you another one of our juicy roundtables from a conversation with my mastermind, which we jokingly call the Weird Hermits. We're sharing about how we are using email, SEO, collabs, bundles, that kind of thing, to bring traffic to our offers, to our website, and to make sales in a way that honors how we want to run our business, which is not necessarily growing on social media. And just to give a shout out to my mastermind sisters, this panel features Destiny Kopp, Monica Froese, Sage Grayson, Kate Cordsmeyer, Faith Mariah, Steph Blake, Tara Reid, and myself. And there are links to everyone in the show notes, including a link where there's a whole bundle of freebies from us, freebies and goodies from us. And any links that were mentioned throughout the discussion, there's also a Google Doc where we kept track of those as well. So in this conversation, you're going to hear us talk about how we get steady traffic to our evergreen offers, the truth about sending daily emails and how that impacts results and unsubscribes. We talk a lot about the power of summits, bundles, and other collaborations for growing our lists. There's also a really juicy conversation about blogging and especially AI search as well as regular SEO and why that actually still matters, plus some really important mindset shifts to help you stop overcomplicating traffic and focus on what actually works. So just a reminder that we are planning to do these roundtable Q&As quite regularly. We also did one recently on prepping for Black Friday, which you're going to see here on the podcast soon. So feel free to get in touch and share your requests for what we talk about. We probably are going to do some sort of planning one as we get towards the end of the year or the new year. But yeah, we are totally open to requests. And we have been getting rave reviews from these free sessions so far. And we have so much fun doing them. So yeah, we are planning to do more. So watch this space. Anyway, on to the Traffic School Roundtable discussion. And I hope that you love it. Oh, and something I forgot to say actually before we dive in is that I am running a free workshop to help you boost your Q4 sales with smart and soulful AI shortcuts. This is a really fun one. So sign up to get your free ticket to that at ruthpoundwhite.com/workshop. It's happening October the 15th. It's going to be really juicy. So see you there.
Welcome to Traffic School Roundtable. Thank you so much for joining us today. I'm your moderator, Sage Grayson from sagegrayson.com, and we are the Weird Hermits. We are a group of women online business owners who earn multiple six figures for multiple years. And we call ourselves the Weird Hermits because we all work from home like little hermit crabs. But once a week, we gather together to share strategies, brainstorm solutions, and support each other's businesses. And once a month, we gather for a live panel to answer all of your burning questions about a specific topic. And today, we're talking about how to get more traffic to your shop, your blog, your website without using social media. Mostly. Thank you so much to everyone who submitted questions ahead of time. We really, really appreciate it. And if you do have a question during the call, please add it to the chat and we will try to get to as many of them as possible. We're trying to keep this to an hour. We'll see how that goes. All right, before we get started, please make sure you have some way to take notes today because I don't want you to miss a thing. And we have something special for you. Let me grab this and I will put it in the chat. The Weird Hermits have gathered up some deals, freebies, and invitations just for you, just for those of you who are here for the Traffic School Roundtable. And I'm going to put it in the chat right now so you can grab them. They will definitely help you on your way as you grow your business. Some of them are specifically traffic related, but I think you're going to love all of them. Okay, I think that is good for our introduction. Let's introduce all of our wonderful panelists today. All right, so let's start with Destiny. You are first on our screen.
Hi, my name is Dr. Destiny Kopp, and you can reach me at my website at destinykopp.com.
Thank you. Kate, will you introduce yourself?
Hey, I'm Kate Kordsmeyer, and I'm the founder of Success with Soul.
Wonderful. Steph, please give us your introduction.
All right. First of all, Sage, I just have to say you need your own like game show or
I know.
something. The way that you introduce it, it's amazing.
Come on down.
For real, for real. But hi everyone, I'm Steph Blake. You can find me at theblakecollective.com.
Thank you so much. Faith, welcome.
Hi, I'm Faith Mariah. You can find my stuff at faithmariah.com. I do simple business strategy and mindset.
Thank you. Monica, please introduce yourself.
I'm Monica Froese, and I kept it simple. You can just go to my name, monicafroese.com, to find me.
We like that. We like that. Thank you. Tara.
Hey, I'm Tara Reed, and you can find everything for me at thetarareed.com.
Thank you. And finally, Ruth, please introduce yourself.
Loving the quick fire intro so we could get to the juicy stuff. I am Ruth Poundwhite at ruthpoundwhite.com.
Wonderful. We are the Weird Hermits, and thank you again so much for joining us. Okay, we're going to dive into the questions that were sent ahead of time. But again, remember, you can please put a question into the chat, and we will try to get to as many of them as possible. All right, here we go. We are starting with the basics here. So our first question is, how do you get traffic to your always open offers? So this isn't a big launch. This is something that's always open. So who wants to take a stab at this one? Tara, yes.
I'll jump in because I don't really do big launches. Like 95% of my stuff is always open. And for me, a big part of traffic is getting people into my sales funnels that I know are going to work and nurture people. And for me, that's basically blogging, SEO, and also doing what I call my quick win strategy because I'm not on social media at all, which is collaborations. So I do a lot of podcast guesting, participating in bundles, summits, etc. So
Fantastic. Who else has a strategy for always open offers?
I would say my two ways are, I firmly believe in always having paid ads running to an opt-in. So I always have an opt-in that's going to lead into like my higher paying products through an evergreen sequence with the freebie with ads, and then my podcast. I would say podcasting is one of those things you have to stick with. It's kind of, I don't want to show up on social media personally. I don't resonate with it, but when I am consistent with podcasting, so many people tell me that they chose to buy because they got to hear me talk about the topic, and you build a level of trust through that medium. So those are the two ways I do that.
Wonderful. I love that. Kate did mention in the chat that 100% her stuff is always open. I think a lot of us have always open offers. Who else has an idea? Yes, Ruth.
I'm not going to give something to do, but I'm going to give something to not do, which is have an always open offer and just expect people to buy it when you are not doing anything to promote it. And when I mean, it could be literally calling it out, talking about it wherever you already show up, even if it's not a launch, or having, you know, evergreen stuff set up behind the scenes. But I think so many of us, and definitely this has been me too, are guilty of having an offer, putting it on our website and thinking because it's on our website, people know that it exists. But it's one thing having it there, and it's another thing actually getting people to see it and know about it. And even if they do know about it, they forget about it. So I just wanted to like make that super clear. Like, even if you have an offer, don't expect, it's very rare that people will buy my stuff that I don't have any automated stuff set up for. Very, very rare.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Jessica.
No, you go ahead.
Okay. I second what Ruth said too. It is very rare for something to just randomly sell on my site. However, there are a few automated ways that I do get this to happen without me having to show up live, whether it's even live in an email that I'm writing that day. Or of course, I'm not on social media at all either. actually, I'm kind of curious, how many of us are not on social at all? Like 0% use?
Like we have profiles, but
Yeah.
it's not at my admin.
I have
post-
automated
Yeah.
posts that go up just on autopilot. I don't post anything actively though.
Okay. So yeah, so we have a couple of us that do a few little things, but the majority of us don't use it at all. So just wanted to clarify that. And then also, so a couple of the ways that I have found to sell my always open things, which is everything I sell. I have a long-term automated evergreen email sequence. Every Friday, an email goes out and it promotes one of my offers with a discount code. It's all automated. I actually got this idea from Monica when I was a client in her digital shop experience, and she was doing it live as a flash sale. And I tried it and I was like, this is great, but this is so much work and I hate doing this every week. So I just figured out how to automate the whole thing instead. So now I know that every Friday I will have an email go out that is pre-written in advance, and then people go through it. And at the end of the cycle, which is, now up to a year's worth of emails, they just start over again. They just loop back through and go through the whole thing again. So that's one way that I've driven traffic to always open things. And another thing that I do, which I know a lot of us do, is I call them like tripwires, but they're really more like pop-up discounts on all of my sales pages. And so while that does require people have to actually get to the sales page, which requires you to help people get there. But once they get there, I have a discount that comes up, and it's a very juicy discount, sometimes as low as $7 to get the offer. And on that, once they purchase, I also have bumps and upsells on every single product that I sell. And that has really helped me sell multiple things at a time when they're always open, and that maybe somebody just found out about my SEO course, but now that they're there, they're seeing, oh, you have a funnel course too, and it's on the bump offer at a discount. And so they're adding things that way. And that's really helped make sales every day. But with always open things on Evergreen, I also do very few launches. And when I do, they're email only.
Question for you, Kate.
Yeah.
So I do something similar with ConvertBox. It will pop up on my sales pages. I have it set, and it does say you will only see this offer once, and you will, unless you can game the system somehow, but like that's how it's set up in the back. And it's a 30-minute discount. So the first time they come to the sales page, they get offered that. Is that like the similar of what you're talking about?
Yes, exactly. I used to do it in Shopify, but now I've moved my shop to Kartra, and I use ConvertBox to provide the discount. And it's the same thing. It's a 15-minute code, and it's a pop-up that they'll see, and it is truly one time only. And so, yeah, and it works really well.
It really does. I think if that's something people should take away, because I was actually just looking at the stats on one of my programs. It's $500 that I do not have an evergreen sequence set up for yet. And so I do live launches for it. Between there, the coupon code's been used 25 times. So 25 times 500, just because I put the coupon code on there. I didn't even realize it was that much. So it worked.
I'll say Sage was a big help in getting me to do this. Yes, I was very inspired by her, and she came to speak to my group about this. And of course, I was like used to discounting things just a little bit, and it didn't work very well. And Sage was like, do you want to sell it or not? Like, you've created it already. Do you want to sell it or not? And so she encouraged me to try really, really juicy discounts. Like I said, even discounting some of my courses that were normally $200 down to $7. And it does make a huge difference. And now I kind of play in the balance of most of my discounts. You can get things from somewhere between $7 and $77. But it still works really well. And I still make full price sales of things as well, because you really can only get the discount once.
Fantastic. I love it. Destiny, did you have a strategy?
Well, the other thing I was just going to say, and I think all the strategies here are great, and we need to be doing them. The other thing that I've been doing for my memberships, I do live workshops every single month in both of my memberships. So what I will do, I will promote the live membership that I'm covering that month in the newsletter, and also, promote it a little bit more in the emails there. But it's an always open membership. People can come in. But what I love about the strategy is when they see a specific workshop, a lot of times they're like, okay, I got to come in because I definitely want that. And it gives them a way to try it out. So that's another strategy you can use for an always open offer.
That's
I
great.
was, oh, sorry. I was just going to add really quick. I do a lot of business coaching in our community, and I feel like I do a lot of like business diagnostic. And so I just wanted to give everybody this. You can walk through it yourself. But what I would walk you through is, what is your traffic source? Where are people coming from? Is that working? If it's like, yes, that's working, there's people going from your traffic source to your email list, right? Because most of us, I would imagine if you guys don't have social, right, they're going from your traffic source to your email list to your offer, right? So it's like, are they going from the traffic source to the email? And then it's like, are they going from the email to the offer? So if they're opening the email and they're not going to the offer, that means the way you are talking about the offer is not compelling enough. So you're either not talking about it enough, like Ruth was saying, you've got to talk about your stuff a lot. And also, like, people need a lot of touch points now. So I think when I started, people used to say like, oh, people need 15 times to see it. I think it's a lot more than that. I think right now people are being very intentional with how they're spending, and they're holding their dollars, right? And thinking about their purchases more. And that just means they need to see it more times and be very clearly explained what it is, how it's going to help them. And they need to see it more than one time. I always tell my community, like, it's not that they didn't buy, they just haven't bought yet. So you thought they needed to hear about it 10 times, maybe they need to hear about it 20 times. Like, I'm like, go tell them about it more, go talk about it more. And then looking at, are they going to the sales page and then not buying, right? Or are they going from the sales page to the cart? But following that process all the way through is literally how I diagnose people's businesses. And any problem you want to solve, you just go through each touch point and find like where it's breaking down, and that'll give you a leverage point where you can actually see results. So you're not working on a leverage point that's not really going to do that much or get that big of an impact on your bottom line.
100%. Steph mentioned in the chat 25 times now to see something is probably the average. I 100% believe that.
We
You
can
have to
blame
see-
TikTok for that because we all have really low attention spans, much more than before.
Can I like put out a question to the panel? Because this kind of leads into something that I was reading.
Yes, please.
A discussion. So I'm curious on everyone else's answers too. Like when we're talking about more touch points and how we're all really focused on email, like how often are we emailing our list? I think that would be really helpful because I know I've been told by a couple people that I'm emailing too much, and I'm like, I got to do what I got to do. This is my main channel. So
Who told you that, Tara?
oh, just a few subscribers that were like, this
Then
is
they're
too
not
much.
for
I'm
you.
leaving. Yeah, I know.
We're literally
Hormozy sent
fighting-
like 18 emails in one day. So
Yeah, like
yeah.
I
Yeah,
email
you're good.
minimum once a day. This week I've had 3 days that were twice a day. And then if you sign up for any of my email memberships, you are also getting those emails too. And I also don't pause people when they get on my list from a bundle or a freebie. I don't pause them. Everyone gets everything immediately. So some people are getting 3, 4, 5 emails a day from me.
I have a good story about this because when I had my first business, my mental health blog, I actually emailed every day, and I did like a daily little newsletter. And people would always ask me, they're like, don't you have a lot of unsubscribes? Like, how don't you have all these unsubscribes? And I'm like, yeah, I have a lot of unsubscribes and I'm making more money than ever. And so what's always been true in my career consistently through like a decade of doing this is that the more emails I send, the more money I make and the more unsubscribes I get. So you have to be careful looking at those numbers and always make sure you're looking at what do you care more about, right? And looking at, are you making sales when you're sending emails? Like you might care more about that than the unsubscribes.
But that's also why there's no such thing as like lead gen not being a thing. Lead gen is something 24/7 that you have to have a pulse on. And I have personal testament to that because I was always great at having a decent focus on lead gen. And then I went through some really rough personal stuff and I just couldn't show up the way I had been for my lead gen. Direct hit to my sales because I could keep emailing. That was not a problem for me, but I wasn't cycling new people in. And when you do email every day, which I do, you're eventually going to wear out that audience. Like, so like people, I have a lot of people in my audience that will ask me, like, they think there's like a goal line for their lead gen. And I'm like, there is no goal line for it. You will always have to attract new people to you. There's no such thing as like, you're done now. Like, and take it from me, the biggest hit I ever took to my business was turning off my ads for a 6-month period. And you usually realize your effort 6 months out. So what you're doing now is going to be your sales in 6 months. Let me tell you, when that 6 months came for me, it wasn't pretty and I will never do that again.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think that's such a good point too about like lag time and that sort of thing. And this is just, I'm so glad Tara asked this question because we're literally writing an email to my list right now about how we've gotten some complaints about you send too many emails. Of course, like Faith said, the more emails I send, the more money I make. So that my email list exists to make money. That is the whole purpose for it. And so if I'm not selling to my email list, there is no reason for me to have an email list. And it's my only channel to sell from because I'm not on social. And so Sharon, thank you, saying I love your emails in the chat. Thank you. And it's funny because I was going to say on the same day that we get emails from people being like, oh, you emailed too much, chill. We get emails like that from Sharon saying, I love your emails. This one meant so much to me. And yeah, so there's a few things that I do because I also email, I wouldn't say every day like clockwork, but I at least email 3 or 4 times a week like clockwork. And sometimes depending on what's going on, it might be every day. And if it's during lunch, it might be 2 or 3 times a day. And so I always have opt-out links for the promos at the top of my email. So it'll say like, if you want to stay on my list, but you're not interested in my birthday sale, click here and you won't hear any more about this. So that helps people. And then I also just kind of think like, people are adults. If you don't know how to manage your inbox, like that is a you problem. That is not a me problem. I know how to manage my inbox. There are filters, there are roll-ups, there are labels. There are so many different ways that you can figure out and you can adjust your settings on different emails. So the end of my emails, it always says edit details. You can say, I only want these emails. I don't want these emails. So I think if you can't figure that out, we're not meant to work together anyway. So that's fine.
Can I say one thing about the opt-out links though? Because I used to use them religiously and I want to give people the opportunity to segment themselves on my list for what they want to do. But the bots started hitting. And what ended up happening was my opt-out links were getting hit by people's bots, like the bot clicks, and they were getting added onto like an opt-out and then they never heard about the offer again. And then months later, they'd be like, you never even told me this existed. Like they would join a live training of mine and be like, wait, what's going on right now? And so I actually stopped using them because of how many bot hits I was getting to them. And now I just, when I'm doing a specific promo, I just have a thing at the bottom that says, if you'd like to opt out of this promo sequence, just reply and we will manually add the opt out. It is a little bit more work, but I just wanted to mention that like it became a big issue for me.
That's
Yeah,
really
it also depends on which tools you're using because some of them will automatically do a double opt out. So like it's not like a trigger link where if you click the link, you're automatically going to opt out. That's what happens with those bots. But you have to actually like click the link and say, no, I actually want to like unsubscribe from these specific emails. And one thing that I was going to say along the lines of the first question was my main way of getting new people in for all of my offers is collabs. So whether that's like email collabs or sponsorships or bundles, summits, speaking opportunities, because same as Monica, you can't just keep emailing the exact same people over and over. You have to keep getting new people in, right? Or else you're eventually going to wear everybody out. Nobody wants to keep hearing the same things over and over again. So yeah, I'm a big believer of emailing at least 4 times a week. But then also constantly getting new people in because you're always going to get unsubscribes. The more you email, the more unsubscribes you're going to get. So that's just something that you have to get used to and be okay with it.
Does anybody here even pay attention to unsubscribes though?
No,
Like it is
no.
not a metric I look at.
I don't care. If
I
you
love when
unsubscribe and you don't want to
people-
be in my world, I'm
I-
okay with that. I'm
I love
honestly
when
okay.
people unsubscribe. It's like they're
Yeah.
removing themselves before I have to do my next cleanup. So,
Right.
and I do that quarterly anyway. So,
I do want to quickly jump in here, but yes, I don't track unsubscribes. I love when people unsubscribe, and I want a list of super fans. So I do email every single day, and I want people who really, really like Sage to be on my list. And if you don't really, really like me, if you're not a super fan, then you are free to unsubscribe. So my list is very like highly engaged, and they love getting emails every day. And to answer this question about how do I get traffic to my always open offers, I go all in with bundles and summits. I do more than 125 bundles and summits a year. Monica's like, no, that works for me. So I'm constantly, like they said, I'm constantly getting new people on my list too. And just like Kate, I use order bumps, I use upsells for everything. I use very low priced tripwires. And like Monica said, when I do summits, when I'm speaking or when I'm guesting on a podcast or something, I get more sales because people get to hear me and imagine what it's like to work with me. So I do encourage all of you to be brave and do something where you have to show up on camera. It will really boost your sales. Okay, I think we have spent enough time on the first question. We're going to move on. We're going to shift gears here. Our next question, I really wish our friend, our fellow weird hermit, Liz Stapleton, was here from Blogger Breakthrough because I knew she would have stuff to say about this. So the question is blogging still an effective way to gain leads to your business or your product? Is blogging still effective? Oh, and for those of you who are asking in the chat, yes, there will be a replay. We will get that to you afterwards. So who wants to talk about, does blogging matter anymore?
Me, I do.
Yes.
Yes, it absolutely still matters. And I know that Tara is going to agree with me. Tara and I take a very similar approach actually to a lot of the marketing in our business. And yes, SEO is changing. And a lot of 60% of Google searches now don't end in a click. And so you hear that, people think, so SEO is dead. Don't write blog posts anymore. Usually, this is a waste of time. But I completely disagree because AI search is alive and well. And if you want to show up and be recommended or quoted or cited in AI tools like ChatGPT or Perplexity or Claude, when people Google things like, how do I grow my business without social media? I want to show up in there. And one of the best ways to do that is by still publishing blog posts and establishing your authority and getting your message out there, proving that you are an expert and that you have a way that you can help people. And I don't think that will ever go away. I think that the good news is SEO, I think, has changed for the better because now instead of all of this mechanical kind of writing and keyword stuffing, it's so much more about your authentic experience and sharing your human story. And so to me, that's just like, great, we get to write about what we actually want to write about now instead of trying to fit some algorithm. But that's my quick and dirty answer of yes, absolutely. Blogging is still a very effective way. And while I have other strategies that I use in my business to grow my email list and to make sales, blogging has consistently been the number one way that I've done that for over 10 years.
I don't know if anyone has seen this, but I was using ChatGPT recently. They've got this new feature where they hyperlink people's names. Like this just seemed to pop up in the last couple of weeks. And it gets the information from, the stuff that you're already doing, like the older school marketing methods. I mean, obviously things are changing and who knows, but I literally just noticed that. And it was linking out to people's websites and giving like a summary based on the pages and the information that was available. And, I just did a summit about AI and someone was talking about showing up in the AI search results and stuff. And loads of the stuff is still the stuff that you should be doing on your blog anyway, that creates the authority that then gets AI to choose you as the thing to link to, the person to link to. So it's all connected and it's not as, it doesn't, I'm not the expert, but it doesn't seem as extreme as some people might make out.
One of my clients contacted me and showed me that I came up multiple times in ChatGPT in her searches from my blog posts. So I definitely recommend that. That's actually one of the questions that we got ahead of time was, how do we get recommended by ChatGPT? Like blogging.
Can I jump in on that? Because I'm in the process of doing like a get it done week on this. And basically what I would say for anyone, especially if you've been using like ChatGPT or whatever tool, is to ask it like in your niche, like who are, for example, for me, I would say, who are the people who are helping entrepreneurs grow without social media? It gives me a list of people. If I'm not on there, I will say, how come I am not listed? I'll give my website and I'll say, what can I do to get listed? Like, what can I do? What things can I improve? And it will give you an action plan of steps to take. So use ChatGPT to help you kind of figure out how can I better like create better content and messaging in order to get recommended for what I want to be recommended for in AI, because it is definitely growing. It's not eliminating search, but it is definitely like that's where people are going to find people.
I love it.
Just to add one more quick SEO tip here, along with what Tara said, which I love, is that ChatGPT uses Bing to do its search results. And so the same indicators that would help you rank on Bing or Google or these other search engines are the same things that are going to help you rank with ChatGPT.
I had no idea that was the case.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So the same things like making sure that your site speed is fast and that your images are optimized and all of the things that help SEO are the same indicators that will
But
help you rank. So
even more so than that, because I have a good pulse on like my Google Search Console. And of course, I know my sitemaps have been submitted to Google. When's the last time I cared about Bing? I don't know, when I was a baby blogger a decade ago. So now I'm like, well, Kate, you just gave me an action item. Thanks.
there you go. You're welcome.
Fantastic. All right, are we ready for the next question?
I did post a blog post that I have with very specific tips also for how to rank within AI tools. So that's a free resource for anybody also that wants to check that out. It's in the chat.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. All right, next question. I love going on podcasts and summits, but they're time consuming. Also, there aren't a ton in my niche that my avatar listens to. Do you think it is worthy of my time to go outside my niche, which is music, to podcasts and summits that focused on creatives or empowering women, or is that not the best use of my limited time to attract leads? I have something to say about this. Yes, I really do believe that bundles and summits are important and a great way to get new people on your list, even if you feel like you have like a very specific niche. I don't have a niche. So that allows me to do more than 125 bundles and summits a year. So I can do witchy ones or mom ones or productivity ones or business ones. I'm all over the place. So I get a variety of people on my list because I sell a variety of products. So you said music. I bet there is a way, like you said, that you can fudge it and get into other bundles and summits. Don't be like, I only work with this type of person. Does that person also want something else? Like if I only work with business people, would they also like to learn how to be productive? Are they moms? Would they also like to learn how to manage their schedule as a mom? Like you can fudge it a little bit because your audience, I know you have an avatar, but your audience is multifaceted just like you. We are fully realized human beings and we don't fit into a specific niche. So I say, yes, please apply to summits and bundles that are a little bit outside your niche. And I think you're going to like having people on your list who are multifaceted, who want more than just this teeny tiny thing. Who
I
else
have
has
thoughts on
thoughts?
this too.
Yes.
Yeah, so we do monthly events, we call them retreats, not summits, at my other company called Create and Escape. And whenever I reach out to people or review applications that come in, I'm always looking for applications that are a little outside of the box. So for example, Sage, like if you have a resource focused on productivity and our event is called, well, we just did one called Unlocking Your Intuition. That was our event from a couple of days ago. How can we take productivity and tie that into intuition, right? So it's just thinking really strategically about how you can take whatever you're doing and tying it into that specific theme, right? And there's always a way to do it. Ask ChatGPT, it'll give you 50 different ideas of how you can tie it into that specific theme so that you can get in front of that audience. With that said, if this is something that is so outside of your area, for example, if your focus is on music and this is a summit about golf, probably not the best fit, right? So you have to have some discretion with that, but there are so many different ways that you can think outside of the box to just be more strategic with how you're presenting yourself to the people who are reviewing these applications, because there's so many opportunities, so many.
Excellent. Excellent.
I want to add that if you never tried something before, you have to test it to know if it's worth doing. You mentioned in the start of the question the time and effort, and I just want to challenge you on that one. Like, it does take time and effort to build your audience, and the way to make it worth your while, because it's true, some summits and bundles are not going to end up being the right fit. And, you know, we have all been in loads of them and we still talk about, oh, I did this one and it wasn't really right or whatever. it happens and it's part of the process. The way that you make it worth it for you is to know that whatever you are creating for that summit gets to be repurposed afterwards and potentially repurposed into other summits or repurposed into your offers. And, you know, I pitched a summit once that I did not get accepted to. And actually, the talk I did was so good, I turned it into a course and I sold loads of that course, right? And similarly, like presentations I've created for summits become lead magnets or low cost offers or whatever. So that's the way that you have to think in that kind of way. Like, yes, it takes time and effort, but you can also repurpose it so it's worth it no matter what happens as you experiment.
Yeah, I want to add to that too, because I think I love that, Ruth. That's what I was going to say. And then the second part of that, I think too, is people just think, oh, a task takes the time it takes. And it's like, no, the task takes how long you decide to do it. And so part of ROI, and we're always talking about this stuff in our meeting about how to automate things, how to do things faster. Like we invest a lot of time and energy actually in like being more efficient. And so I think part of that efficiency is like what Ruth is speaking to about making sure you're not just making one-off things, you're making things like maybe you want to update your course and you do your summit thing, and that's going to be your new little bonus module in your course, right? Thinking about how to repurpose is definitely a good way to save time. But then also, is there a way to be faster, like getting ready? My team used to have a database of stuff and they would do a lot of the application stuff for me, right? So I would just record it and drop it and they would fill out the form and do all that. I never even touched that. Even if you don't have a team, there's like different ways to be more efficient. And so I think it's a good question to ask yourself about how long am I spending doing this and like how could I do it in half the time? Even if it's not possible to cut it that much, I just think it's a good place to take your brain.
Yeah. I love that. I repurpose everything that I put into summits and I reuse the slides, just changing out the words. Like you can absolutely save time with this. I want everyone to make sure they're checking in the chat because Kate very helpfully linked to specific Facebook groups where we find most of the applications for bundles and summits. So please check out those. Oh, yes. And Steph has Collab Hub here. Please check that out. In our document that we've shared, I know Faith has a link to her newest summit. Faith, Steph, those of you who have applications for summits that are open right now, can you please put them in the chat for everyone? I also recommend signing up for the Hot List Lounge. It's an email by Bundle Bash, and they just send me the links to open applications every week, and I don't have to go searching for them. So I like that.
The
Wonderful.
one thing I do that, because I haven't been in 125 in a year, but I've been in a decent amount of bundles and summits. So I will pick a presentation that I will say I like take it on tour for about 3 months of the summit calendars and I record it. I record it once. The intro, I'm very careful not to mention what summit it is. I introduce myself. The only thing that has to change is the call to action at the end because it has to be its unique link. So then I film it through the presentation once, that's one file, and then it's a 60-second outro I have to do for each summit, and it has saved me so much time.
Wonderful. Yes, so I'll put it, it's the Hot List Lounge by Bundle Bass. I do have an affiliate link for it, but I can't find it right now, so there you go. Check it out anyway. So yeah, it's great. Every week I get a list of all of the open applications for bundles. Plus there's one business action step and then one mindset action step too. If you like that, I love little tips too. But it's nice because I did have to go to all of those Facebook groups, which I really, really appreciate. Where people are putting their applications in my Facebook group too. People are putting applications for bundles. But it is a little time consuming. So if you can tighten it up and get on anyone's list, whether it's a Hot List Lounge or somebody else who does send those applications, that's going to save you time too. We ready for the next question? All right, let's do it. Okay, how do I refine the traffic so that I'm getting more relevant people coming in rather than those casual browsers? I'd also love your best tips on converting that traffic to from subscribers to customers fast. Okay, so how do we get those buyers and not those looky-loos? Who's got some
thoughts on this? And it's something I wanted to circle back to because Monica mentioned running ads. And this is something that I feel like a lot of us here do. Some of us have dipped our toes in, some have gone all in. People are always so afraid of running ads. And I'm not saying you shouldn't be. It's expensive and it's risky and, just like anything, but you're either paying for something with your time or with your money. And sometimes both. And I feel like, especially with this conversation of bundles and summits, which I'm also a huge fan of, but I am a huge fan of diversifying all things, revenue streams, traffic streams, lead gen, all of those things. And so I also run ads. It has always been the fastest proven way to grow my email list. And to this question about how do you make sure that you're getting like real buyers and people who will go on, and to not just be browsers, targeting. That's like what you can do in Ads Manager. And I find this to be 1,000% different from being on social media. I am in Ads Manager running an ad campaign the same way I would be if I was running a billboard on the side of the highway. It doesn't mean I'm driving on the highway stuck in traffic. So I think of ads being very different. And you can set up targeting within your ads so that you are targeting specific types of people, that you're targeting specific interests, specific zip codes. I mean, there's a million different ways that you can target, and even optimizing your ads for different objectives. So a lot of people run freebie campaigns on like basically running an ad to your lead magnet, and they would optimize for leads. But I've found much more success optimizing for purchases. And even though I'm sending those leads to a freebie, I have a tripwire, of course, on the end with a bump and an upsell. It completely offsets 100% of my ad spend currently, and then some. And that's before they even get on my email list and hopefully go on to buy more things from me. And so optimizing for that purchase has really helped. Facebook the algorithm is so smart now. It knows when people are ready to buy. It knows when people have been looking at something similar and they're in purchase mode. And so using Facebook ads or meta ads has been one of the best ways for me to get traffic to my email list. And you can really refine who that traffic is and ensure that you're getting people who are legit, serious buyers, not just the looky-loos, as Sage calls them.
Absolutely. Great. Who else has ideas?
I'll add, I think also you can do a lot with your messaging. So making sure when you're putting out free things or you're talking to people that are ready to buy. A lot of times in my community, I'll see people talking to people like they don't even know they have that problem yet, or it's like they're not talking to the people that would actually buy their program. So you want to really look at your program and what you're selling and what your offer is, and break that down exactly who that person is, exactly what stage they're at, what they're thinking, what they're struggling with when they're ready to buy. And then you make a presentation based on that. I think sometimes people look too wide, and then that's where it's like, why do I have all these random people? It's like, well, your messaging wasn't talking to the people that would actually pay money to fix this problem and are ready to pay money to fix this problem too.
Oh, there's a fantastic question in the chat. All right. I want our thoughts on this. What are your thoughts on having people pay for the most expensive package, thus becoming VIPs, but then discounting the same programs for as low as $7 to grow their audience? I understand that they need more leads, but shouldn't you take care of your it jumped. Shouldn't you take care of your biggest supporters? I see coaches do it, and I find it so infuriating from a customer perspective. I come from a customer service background, so it's always my top priority. My thought is, yes, sometimes things are discounted later and people have paid full price. Didn't you get value out of it? Wasn't it worth the full price? And if you got value out of it and enjoyed it, then what's the problem? I would never go to another company and be like, hey, I bought this 3 months ago at full price and now it's discounted. Give me more money back. Like, whoa, that just feels super entitled and weird to me. So yes, like companies discount things for holidays, for birthdays, for whatever. Didn't you get value out of it at a full price? If you did,
So
then what's the problem?
I actually just had an interesting email that I had to respond to last week along these lines. So this person came in, paid a certain price for a program, but what she paid for, not only she got ongoing updates, which new people only a 12-month container of ongoing updates, she had 4 months of live support. And the version, so then she saw the sales page, it cut in half. There's no live support. I am not showing up. And I do think when you build a business like this, people think like, okay, if I bought my Dyson vacuum for $500 and then on Black Friday it's like $179, I am not going back into Target and being like, I bought this in June. I've been using it for 6 months. I'm really mad that you're running a promotion on Black Friday to this. We don't do that to brands, but people think they can do it to people. And honestly, I've just gotten to the point in my business where like, I think that there definitely is integrity things that we can talk about here. There's definitely some things that could be out of line with you discounting things. But like in this case, when I wrote back, it's like, you had 4 months live support. You were getting, I went through all the things I've added into the program since she bought it. It's like, and at the end of the day, I still have to make money on this program. So like if the market changes, if the market shifts, and now I could sell it a year ago at this price point, but now the market's not bearing that and I have to mark it down. Are you telling me I'm just not allowed to sell my program? Like, so there's definitely some arguments to be made. I understand where they're coming from, but also like I think people have to remember we are people who are running businesses, and in order for us to show up, like our stuff has to be selling. So if it's not selling at that price point anymore, we have to change it. We have to adapt to the market conditions.
Yeah, I think that's a
find
really
it so
good.
weird and
Oh.
gross.
I think that's a really good point, Monica. I totally agree with everything you said. And we run discounts and sales in my business. I just want to add, this is really like a ethical question, and it really has to be what feels right to you. And everybody on this panel, we all run our businesses different. We all make different decisions. We're in a Voxer chat and somebody will ask a question and we'll answer it 7 different ways. It really has to come down to like, if that feels bad to you, then you should not do that, right? Always. And I'll tell you the most expensive mistakes and the things that I look back on and I'm kind of like, oh, like I wish I had not done that. I felt the whole time, this does not feel right to me. And I saw someone else do it, or I thought someone knew more than me, right? But at the end of the day, it's like nobody's going to know better about my business than me, and nobody's going to know better about your business than you. I don't care how much money they've made. You have to stay in integrity with what feels right to you, because if that feels out of integrity to you, you will not be able to sell it anyway. So I think there's like Monica's saying, there's like 2 sides of it, right? But always do just what feels best to you, and I think you'll be good.
Yeah, I totally agree with that, Faith. I think as long as you stay in integrity with yourself, and even if you say, I made this example before because I shut down my Shopify store and I ran a sale saying my shop is closing. I never said that these products are disappearing forever, though. I was very conscious of that in my marketing to say like the shop is closing, so you can get everything for 50% off. I did not say you will never see these products for sale again, because I was like Faith was saying, like I was thinking long term, like, okay, what would I potentially want to do in the future? And I don't want somebody coming back to me saying, hey, you said this thing was never gonna be here again and now you're selling it again. Right. So there's so many different ways to view this based on like yourself, your goals, your business, right? But I think as long as you like Faith was saying, like you do whatever feels right for you, because at the end of the day, it's your business, right? Like, and if somebody gets mad about it, they're going to get mad about it anyway.
People always
Right?
get mad.
You can't get
exactly. As you grow an audience,
yep,
somebody's not going to like, and this is what I say all the time. I'm like, I can't run a business for the one person who's mad at me. I'm sorry.
100%.
I just can't.
Thank you.
Faith has said this to us before, and it sticks with me all the time. I think about it constantly, and it's, I don't make decisions in my business based on my worst customers. Like I make them based on my best customers. And I think I really do. I come back to that all the time, Faith, when I'm thinking about like, how do I want to do this? Or, oh, somebody said I sent too many emails, or somebody's complaining that this or whatever. And I go, I don't think they're my people. Like, I don't want to make decisions based on that. There's other people like Sharon who's are like, I love your emails. Keep them coming. I don't want to miss them. So I think you cannot do everything right. You cannot please everyone. I think this is also like, you can make a decision and change your mind. You can make a decision and evolve. You can have the tripwire, and you can have a customer who writes in and requests a price adjustment or a discount, and you can decide on a case-by-case basis, you know what? This seems legit. They bought it yesterday. Now they're seeing that it's a discount. Maybe I'm going to honor that, versus somebody who bought it 4 months ago, got the, the service that you provided. But I think all of it is like, you don't have to, I think having boundaries and like having, a decision made before you get into a conflict can often be helpful, but also just giving yourself permission to like evolve and take things as they come and trusting yourself to handle it if and when it arises. Because I think so many of us get in our heads, we won't do something, we won't take the action because we're like, what if somebody gets mad? It's like, maybe they will, but maybe they won't. And just trust yourself to be able to handle that if and when it happens.
Yeah, don't worry about problems that haven't happened yet.
Right.
Love it. Okay, we're running out of time. So let me go back to our questions. Maybe we'll skip around. Ladies, was there a specific question from our list that you wanted me to get to? We got something about baby steps for starting. We got some about how to get people traffic to bigger items, like high ticket items, or requirements for social media when you join a bundle or summit. Does anyone have a specific thing we want to talk about?
I mean, you can negotiate. I mean, I would never have a problem with that as a summit host. You say, I don't do social media. Can I do another email mention instead? 100% fine.
I've never had an issue with that. I just say I just don't do social media, and there's never a problem.
Interesting, because like I have my social media profile set up, so I'm like, whatever, I'll post the story. It's not going to get you any sales, but if you're going to make it a requirement, whatever, I'll post the story.
Yeah.
I usually offer to send an additional email in place of social media, which I mean, that's going to be very beneficial to the host for me to send two solo emails or like one solo and an extra PS or mention versus me posting on a social media platform that hasn't been posted on in 3 years.
Most of events, I would prefer people send multiple emails instead of social media. And I don't care if somebody's not on social media. It's just the reason that those are in place is so that we can ensure fairness across all of the people because you don't want a couple of people promoting and doing all of the work and then other people not doing it. So that's why they're in place, but you can 9 times out of 10, there's some wiggle room there with the host.
I mean, just as someone who doesn't run a lot of, I've only actually done 1 or 2 events where people contributed. Usually when I run events, it's just like me running a challenge and it's just me as a speaker. I am kind of curious though, as like Ruth and Steph, all of you that run summits, why even make social a requirement? We all know the sales come from email. So why even make it? Like when I ran my 1 bundle, I didn't put social requirements in. So
It depends. Some people have really large social followings that convert. For example,
Okay.
some of the people in our events, they'll have like 75,000 followers on social media, but they'll have like 300 people on their email list.
Interesting.
So-
Okay, that's valid. That's valid.
And
Yeah.
Yeah,
B2C
it's
too,
different. It's
yeah,
different in the
B2C, I feel like
B2C
it's-
market. Yeah.
That's exact. Destiny already knew what I was going to say. We're
Yeah,
on the
for
same
sure.
wavelength.
Yeah.
Okay, so that makes more sense. I was coming from a B2B perspective, but B2C, I
But
can.
even still, there's some B2B. It just kind of depends on the person. Like
Interesting.
I know other people who convert just from Instagram stories. Like that's their main traffic driver, right? So
Or is
it
there a
just
way to
depends.
like let people just choose? Like people know what's going to convert for them, right? So like,
Sure. Yeah. So like if
converting.
that person said like, I know my Instagram stories are going to convert much better than email. Can I send 5 Instagram stories instead of 2 emails or whatever? I'd be like, yeah, please.
Yeah, I kind of almost
Whatever
wish
you
though
think.
that Summit and Bundle people would open that up as a conversation, like so people understand that they can ask for what makes sense, because a lot of people are just going to blindly do what it says. And I mean, I don't know. I think it would be more compelling to me. Just food for thought.
Yeah. Just talk to people, have a
Yeah.
conversation. It's very simple. Very simple.
Sage, what about number 13 on the list?
I think this is a great one to kind of wrap up the call. Going back to basics, we have people on our call right now who are absolute beginners. So what are the first 5 baby steps you would recommend to an absolute newbie with 0 followers about to launch her freebie? All right, how do we get these newbies to get traffic to their brand new freebie? Who's got thoughts?
Destiny, you should start. You want to.
Well, the reason why I saw it on the list, and I actually did a review for somebody this morning for their growth plan, and this is real. This was the question that they had. They were starting from scratch, and we've talked about it a lot today. And some of it comes down to, do you have the budget to run ads? I do think the ads are one of the best things that we can do to get that targeted person on our email list. But for somebody who's just beginning, they're just starting, they don't have a seasoned Facebook pixel, they might not even have their website yet. I would go out and do the collaborations. So even if it's just, finding somebody in your niche that you can collaborate with, if you don't even feel confident going out to pitch a bundle or a summit, I would start very small and then just work your way up from there. The other thing that I would do is, if you feel comfortable with it, is go out and do some podcast guesting. That's another thing that I would do just to get your voice out there. I can tell you that some of the first podcast guests episodes that I did, they were awful. I mean, I have gone back and listened to them. I was so bad. But after doing them over and over and over again, I'm very confident with it now. So it's partly just getting your voice out there, making those connections. But I think the collaborations is where I would suggest that you start.
I wanted to chime in here because I know one of the other questions on the list mentioned something about, I don't really want to be on social media, but I don't think you didn't say it like this, but I don't think I'm allowed to unless I have 2,000 email subscribers or something like that. And I was just, because this really links in with what we're talking about, because check yourself on what rules you have around how you think you need to do it. Yes, some audiences are more unsocial. Yes, social media makes sense for some people, personality wise, audience wise, but you don't have to have you don't. Like, if you're doing what Destiny just suggested and you have a reason for people to join your email list, see your email list as the hub, give people a reason to join. A reason to join doesn't even have to be a freebie if you haven't got time or whatever to make that yet, but a reason, like what are you going to give them? And you can totally focus on email. My first business, 100% email. I know I couldn't show my face. I was terrified. So didn't do social media.
Good point.
Oh, sorry. Was somebody else starting? Okay. I'm just going to add too, I completely agree with what everyone said, of course. And I get this question all the time too. And I like to think of list growth and visibility in kind of two buckets. One is like short-term ROI and one is more playing the long game. And so I think of things like even podcast guesting, which is kind of in the middle, but podcast guesting or SEO and things like that, or even social media, those are the long game. You're not going to post one blog post or 10 social media posts and all of a sudden have 500 people on your email list. But doing a little bit each week, I think, does compound over time. So I think sometimes what I see is people with zero audience starting with only those long-term strategies. And while I'm not saying don't do those long-term strategies, I think it's not going to be the fastest way to get some people on your list and start testing your offers and your messaging and seeing what's working and what you even enjoy. What you think you want to do might be totally different once you actually start doing it and see how it feels. So I also like to complement one long-term strategy with one short-term strategy happening at the same time. And that would be, for me, like bundles and summits and ads are just the fastest ways to get hundreds of people onto your email list in one go. So I always like to do at least one of those two things, or like hosting an affiliate partner challenge or something. Like we'll do a JV webinar with somebody where I'm borrowing their audience to grow mine, buying a sponsorship in somebody's email list. Like I know a lot of us have sponsor spotlights in our emails. And I know for me, like I send 100 clicks on average to somebody who sponsors my email. So if you have a 50% conversion rate on your freebie, you just got 50 people on your email list from sponsoring somebody's email. So finding those kinds of collaborations that will give you that immediate ROI, I think will also help you build momentum and get some quicker wins. And if you only focus on the long-term strategies, that's when I find people being like, oh my God, it's taking forever, nothing's happening. It's like, well, right. These are things that are going to compound over years, not over days.
Wonderful. Friends, we're out of time. We've been here for an hour talking about how to get traffic to your shop, blog, and website. using mostly not social media. Thank you so much for being here today. So we are the Weird Hermits. We do this every month. We share our best strategies on a specific topic. So we are going to send the replay out. When you see that replay email, make sure you hit reply and tell us what topics we should do for our next panel. And then once we get all of the ideas, we will let you know what our next topic is and when we are hosting it next. Also, yes, let me
Sage,
put our, oh, yes.
I'm going to stop you. Do we have email addresses for everybody?
We do in the invite.
I just sent it to my entire list, whether they came here or not.
Okay.
Yeah,
perfect.
that's what I was thinking.
That's what
As long
I'm
as
doing.
someone
Yeah.
is on someone's
you
list.
meant like people who signed up. Yeah. we don't
Yeah.
do that.
As long as you're on one of our email lists, which I guess you
Yes.
all probably are, that's probably how you found out about this, then we'll send out the replay.
If you would like to be on our email list, here's a link to all of our special offers. Some of them are traffic related, but they're all delightful. So please check them out. Please get on our email list. Reply to the replay email. Let us know what you want us to talk about on our next panel. All right, ladies, do we have any final thoughts about traffic?
Not about traffic, but I would say everyone who's enjoyed these chats that we've been doing every month, send us your requests for what you want us to cover next month. What topic should we talk about next month? So put it in the chat real quick or email us, but let us know.
But I'm wondering if it should be about Black Friday.
I was thinking
Depending on when we do it next month. That might be an interesting conversation.
Yes.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, I love it. October, Black Friday. Get us all.
Who here is up for that? And let us know in the chat if that would be helpful for you.
This is going to be so great because I know almost all of us have different Black Friday strategies and they are so good. Some are hard selling, some are using freebies, some have completely out of the box, off the wall ideas. So, I think that would be awesome. Let us know if you want us to talk about Black Friday.
We'll have to see if we can fit it in sooner, like a less of a gap between them this time.
I agree with that. Maybe a little bit sooner. All right, friends, thank you so much for being here. This has been Traffic School Roundtable with the Weird Hermits. We do this every month, and we will see you again real soon. Thank you.
Thank you so much for listening to another episode of Soulful Sales. If you have a moment to rate and review, know that it really does make a difference. And if you'd like to carry on the conversation, then you can connect with me on Instagram at Ruth Poundwhite, sign up to my newsletter at ruthpoundwhite.com/newsletter, or my personal favorite, join me inside the low ticket membership at ruthpoundwhite.com/membership. And keep doing what you're doing because your work really does matter.